I will be doing the next steps. So this is the off and on states that we've put in addition to the auto state that we've done before, right? So but now you need to connect the off and on modes to the main chart, which is the auto chart. So same thing, what is the relationship between the off and since we have to have 3 modes now, right? What is the relationship between the off chart and the auto chart? So you have to draw that arrow, right? And then you have to give that condition. So for example, because now we have 3 modes, I want to say that if my mode equals to 2, then I want it to move from off mode to auto mode, right? And if the mode is 1, then I want it to move from auto to off mode. Because remember, we're having 3 modes here. I'm defining off mode. You can define it whatever you want. I'm defining it off mode as mode 1, auto mode as mode 2, and on mode as mode 3. So now I'm making the relationship between the off mode and the auto mode. Okay? You have to do the same thing with the auto mode and the on mode. So now on mode we've defined as, like I've defined as mode 3. You can define whatever you want. Same thing, you make the relationship. I want it to go from auto to on when mode equals to 3, right? And I want it to go from on to auto when mode equals to 2. And it's up to you, but I want my default. So when it first enters this chart, I want my default to not be on the auto mode. I want it to be on the off. It's completely up to you. It doesn't matter. If you feel like you want to change it later, you can change it later, right? Now, can someone tell me if this is complete? If I am missing anything, or if this is complete, then what should be the next step? Have I covered everything? I've connected this one to this one. I've connected this one to this one. So what should that be? What should that condition be? Yeah, what should that condition be? So on to auto is when mode is 2. On to off, what should the condition be? Mode is 1. And then is there another condition that I would need to do? Yes, so off to on and on to off. That's an additional that I need to put in, right? And then will it be complete? Or am I still missing something? What's your final answer? Is that your final answer? That is correct? Then it will be complete, yes. Oops. So off to on, we're defining as, like I'm defining as mode 3, right? And on to off, I am defining as mode 1. Does everyone follow? Any problems in understanding what we're trying to do? Now we have 3 operating modes. These, oh, yeah, these are the manual override modes, and this is the automatic mode. In this mode, doesn't matter. You may notice there is no ADC or threshold condition here. If it's off, LED will be 0. It's off. If it's on, then we can define what the brightness is, but it'll be on. It won't change according to the ADC and threshold. Only the auto mode will change according to the ADC and threshold. So automatic street lights, they're always on auto mode, especially in the nighttime, because there's no one to monitor those, right? So there's no officers, there's no people monitoring those. So they just set it into auto mode. So if it's dark, then the light will turn on. If it's bright, then it goes off, right? Just an example. Another question. We had 4 variables before, right? 3 input variables, 1 output variable. Did I add another variable here? Which one? Mode. So now we have to define mode as well. Is mode an input or an output? Can you guys go back and define it like we defined the others? And to control that mode, after you put in the constant block and to control that mode, import a rotary switch. So if you go back, right, then we have another input here that we will define, just like we defined the other inputs, like this, right? I create and I give it mode. Remember, it should match the exact same variable name that you gave inside the chart. It has to match. This one has to match. So I define it like this. But then how do I control? Now, because I have 3 modes, right? How do I control it? I can use a rotary switch. So after I input a constant block, right? I can input a constant block, but then these are also constant blocks and they're linked to the slider switches, right? That we imported and connected them together. But for this one, now I want to use a rotary switch to link it, right? I come up with a rotary switch. And then after that, you click the rotary switch, and I think you guys can figure that out. Now, the last step, which some of you might be trying already, is we had this condition, this ADC greater than threshold condition, when we only had the auto event, right? Auto state. But this condition doesn't work anymore. You can try to run it, and it will not work according to the rotary switch, because this one only accounts for the auto mode. But what about the off and on mode that we added? So this part also has to change. Okay. So this one is a little challenging and requires a bit of time. So I will show you how to do it. And if you guys can come up with an easier way, your solutions are welcome too. There's not just one answer for this one. There's many answers. So I'm going to say, firstly, if my mode is greater than, let's say, 2, which means it is basically, or I can also make it, if my mode is actually equal to, right? If my mode is equal to 3, which is the on mode, right? And now remember the ADC greater than threshold condition still stays. But now we just need to find a way to make it work with the whole system, the new system that we've developed, right? So now, when ADC is greater than threshold, we said that if ADC is greater than threshold, now this changes a little bit, and now it's actually this. The ways to turn the LED on are actually these, right? It's not just one way now. Before there was only one way, right? The first one, A. But now there's also a manual override mode that can turn the LED on, right? So if the ADC is greater than the threshold, you want it to be on. Or if the mode is equal to if the mode is equal to 2. 2. And this is an AND condition. And we need an OR condition. I will explain this in a bit. I need to change it to this one, status. Should be this one. Mode is equal to 2. And ADC is greater than threshold. Okay. So now let's see. Okay. So you guys can copy this, and I will explain what's going on here. But firstly, does anyone understand? And anyone is welcome to explain this to the rest of us. And if anyone has a simpler solution than this, please let me know as well. This is what I could think of right now. Remember, this LED turns on when this is 1. When do we want this to be 1? We want this to be 1 when either it's in on mode, right? When mode is equal to 3, so this condition, or when it's in auto mode, and at the same time when it's in auto mode, it has to be, ADC has to be greater than threshold. So this is the first part where the mode has to be on, or it should also turn on when it's in auto mode, which is mode 2, and at the same time when the ADC is greater than the threshold. So this has 2 conditions, and this has 1 more condition. So we add that up using and or blocks, and that's when the LED should be on. So we're gonna take a few more minutes so you guys can do this. I'm gonna also leave the name of the blocks over here. This is a constant block. This is an equal to block. This is an and block. This is another constant equal. This is an or block. This is a display. And after this comes the fun part. We're done simulating this on software. So if it works for all of you, now you will be deploying this onto real hardware. And exactly according to these conditions, your hardware will work. So that's when we have to make a few changes to the model and use like some of the block set elements. But if this is working and you understand it, now we're gonna have some fun in the last 1 hour. So I'll take until 2:40, okay? And then 2:40 we will get into the next part, which is how do we deploy this into hardware. Okay, guys, moving on. So we have this so far, right? For those that it's not working, right? Please tell me right now so you can download the solution file from the website. But for those that it's working, you can use your file. Because the next step, you will, if this is not correct, then what you deploy to the microcontroller will also be not correct, and then it won't function like we want it to. So if it's not working properly, tell me now and I can give you the solution file and you can use that.